You have one life purpose. And if you were to live it, you would be happy, you would be abundant, you would heal, and you would have everything that you want. And if you don't have all those things, it means that you haven't met me yet, or you haven't been shown the correct way, or you just don't want to. But it could be that you're just coming to understand that now, and it could be even happening today. And I'm saying that because what happened was I heard those words last night as I looked at a message that I received last year on this date, and that said, oh, I better talk about this now so that I could live my life purpose. And first, what I'm going to do is read that message to you so you will understand it, and then I'll explain it even further. Because, see, when more of us decide to live our life purpose, which is our authentic selves, meaning our reason for being alive, then we have a really great life, and then we have also a terrific world. And that's what we're in the middle of creating now. But if we're not living our life purpose, then we can't accomplish either of those goals. This is the message, and I'll explain a little bit more. And then I have a little treat for you at the end of it. And this is the message that came through August 15th, 2023. You have one life purpose. It has always been the same, but you keep discovering it as you live your physical experience. Your life purpose has become more meaningful now due to the restructuring of your world. You have taken a new step, and the importance of our message on this date in 2012 should not be lost on you. The most potent energy you possess is self love. August 15th, 2012. Magic happens when you decide to take over directing your physical life experience. While that statement may seem to you to be unnecessary, it becomes vitally important when you pay attention to how many times you give away control of your experience to other people, situations, or events. In those instances, you feel at the mercy of all things outside your control. All power occurs in your thinking realm, and you always maintain and choose how to use it. It never matters what occurs in your physical experience, but how you decide to think about it does matter. Magic is changing your mind. Now, that was the message that came through. And in 2012, I couldn't have told you exactly what that message meant. And that's what I'm talking about. We evolve in our consciousness. We do that individually, and we do that also collectively, meaning our world. And that is what is occurring now in our world. There's nothing that's happening accidentally in your life or in our world because we begin to understand that everything is created energetically by how we choose to think about ourselves. But we also have these paths that we must move through individually that have been limited, that have been restricted, that we couldn't understand who we were. And that is also a product of our consciousness. And do we decide that we're going to move up to a higher state of consciousness? And I was given the work to be able to accomplish that. But see, I wasn't stepping into my purpose fully either because it's always something that is in front of you and you don't know what it is. It's that unknown. And sometimes it can show up in really surprising ways. And I can say this because I'm 73 years old and the work that I have received has completely healed my life. And to tell others that and to have them believe that is always a little challenging. And also to have me accept it was challenging, which is why I didn't talk about it. When I first sat down and started receiving Wilhelm messages in 1989, the first one that I have written, it was something that I didn't understand. And I actually went about keeping it hidden for like more than 20 years or attempting to do that until other people started finding my messages and said, wow, this is really helping me. I didn't understand the importance or the power of what was coming through me. You don't know that either. And you only find out when you take the steps of discovering who you are. Now, the reason that this work came about now for me is because I discovered I'm this mystic, a sage, and a prophet. And yes, I wrote it all down beforehand. When we can let go of our logical thinking, because that always gets in our way because we are discovering more things and our logical thinking will not help us understand what's occurring now. It's how much are we willing to move into a new realm. And when we think about things like artificial intelligence, we never thought that several years ago that we would be using it in the way that we are today. And that's because things keep developing and they develop through us using our consciousness and deciding to take new steps into something that was before unknown to us. And that's what we all must do. And that's what I'm doing now. I talked about that I'm changing my program. I'm not changing, I'm just adding much more to it. And that's what I'm doing. And I said I was going to be doing it today, which is kind of ironic that I would find that message. But that's what I'm doing. Because what I'm saying is that my life has led me to develop something that anyone can use to really create this magnificent life. They love themselves. They start to heal. They move through generational trauma. They start to understand their soul mission. They start to understand why they're alive. And so there was a channeling session that was held on that date, and I'll attach a link to it because it said now you can accept your value. Because that's everyone. But see, that's something that only occurs as we can look at ourselves and examine our lives and say, oh, wait a minute, I've done something really wonderful. Now I know I have a legacy that I'm going to leave because I understand I don't live forever. So maybe it's a great time to do it now. What I'm saying is that the world's going to keep changing, especially during this year. And that's why I must move and live more of my life purpose, which was obviously to bring in a new philosophy. And the philosophy said every single person is born worthy and has value and has talent and has abilities, but they've been talked out of it. They've been programmed to believe that they don't have it. And I know this because that's what I've done to myself, but I was given the information over all of these years to understand it. And so when I say to people, I've developed the most valuable thing that anyone can own, I know that that's absolutely true because you come out loving yourself. You come out happy. You reach a new dimension of understanding of consciousness. And then what happens is we have a very different world because more people will start doing that because there's a ripple effect that goes on, meaning what you decide to do with your life, you'll pass on to someone else and things will change. Now we're moving through a period which my guide Wilhelm is called a restructuring. And as you listen to the recording, and I'll leave a link in this video so you can hear it, they talk about how everything that I had done and what was put into this program, but owning it was really challenging. And it's the same for you because the thing that you have is there and it hasn't been developed yet. So you believing it might cause you a little difficulty. You think I'm this mess, I'm an imposter. None of that is ever true. Or you think that you've had just terrible things that have happened in your life. No, you have not. You have just decided and accepted something that you are going to move through in your evolutionary journey now that's going to help someone else when you understand it, when you can figure out why you had the life that you did. And even if you're someone who's become incredibly successful and you have everything that you want, you could be feeling that you want to use all of that wealth and information in a new way now because you're seeing the world changing and you want to make a difference. I'm saying this because the only people who would probably listen to this or me would be those who want to make a change in their lives and also in our world because you start to understand that those two things are connected. There's no person that is born any less than another. There's no person that has any less ability or talent than another. It just comes through in different ways. And so the information and the philosophy that I was given said, wait a minute, maybe we should start including everyone. And so people who do this work, they start to understand that. And this is why they've changed. And this is why you will hear people who have done this work who say, wow, I have never done anything like this and I'm different. And I know that. But I'm also very introverted. So it was really challenging for me to put it out there. But that's changing as well because I have many things that are being released that are going to expose more of it. But what I'm saying to you is that this is the time where you're meant to embrace who you are, own yourself, because that's going to be an energetic contribution that you will not only make to yourself, but to our world also because when we can more of us can reach this higher state of consciousness, over time we stop killing each other because we have no more need for war or anything else. But the other magical thing that happens for you is that the energetic flow that will start to come to you brings you abundance, happiness, and joy and healing. And I can say those things as well because that's what I've done. And so it takes me getting to this age at 73 where I can say, yes, I know that you can accomplish anything. And the only reason you don't is because you just don't want to. I can just say that because I have done that. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that you have to decide whether you're going to step over it, whether you're going to move through that limitation that you have given yourself. And if you see on my website, I've written several articles over the last several years talking about the changes that are happening in our world so everybody can understand it. And I said that continuing to suffer and struggle is self-imposed. If you continue to do that, this means you're just not willing to change and become your authentic self. And I'm becoming my authentic self now, which is why I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing so much more of this work because I have a lot of books I'm going to write as well. You probably have that as well because that's your life story. That's why you are alive. And as my Wilhelm said, your story is valuable and it's unique because no other soul shares precisely your story. Why else would you have been born? So now is a time for you to live that. And I am going to help as many of those who want to reach that higher state of understanding and consciousness and live these great lives because I have the pathway for you to be able to accomplish that. That's what we all have when we just start to live our one life purpose because it's only about you becoming your authentic self. All right. See you guys soon.